I should start with what is RealBird. RealBird is a tool set. RealBird is not, we're not a consumer-facing agency like Zillow or Craigslist or Facebook. We do have now a budding consumer-facing portal that we started a few months ago. It's called articles.realbird.com, and it's getting more and more traction. And we post listings there for $15, but that's just recent. The main part of our product is the tool set. And so RealBird is a tool set to generate buyer and seller leads and to promote your brand. Now, how does this work? So the RealBird Pro has I listed these features over here. The essence of it are the single property websites. And then for those, each of those, you get virtual tours and landing pages. We syndicate the listings to certain portals, which list is available in your dashboard, and I'll tell you about that just in a minute. We have various facilities like posting generators to Craigslist, Active Rain. We give you landing pages, and there's some other ones here that I'll go through as I go on with the presentation. Seller emailing tool. So all these things that are here, the purpose of all these features is, of course, to generate buyer and seller leads. But so then the question is, okay, so how are leads generated today, right? So here is what happens if somebody decides to buy or sell a house, right? What has to happen for you as an agent to get this person in your area as a lead, right? So there's two things that have to happen. The first event is they have to find you, right? Because you don't know that they started looking to buy or sell a house in your area. The second event that has to happen is they have to tell you, sorry, who they are and what they are looking to do. Unless these two events happen, you're not going to know that that new seller came on the market. So let's deconstruct these two, and then I'll show you the features. Why is it difficult for somebody who just came on the market to become your lead? Well, because what do? They sit down in front of a computer and they start looking to buy for buyer and seller information, what that entails. And in this process, they can go to Zillow, Twilio, Craigslist, Facebook, Active Rain, Google search, Bing search, etc. Unless you have some presence over there that they can find about you, they're not going to know that you exist. So the first rule of marketing is increase your footprint online, and I'll show you with some examples how you do that with RealBird property website. But once they find you, you still don't know if they look at your website or your Facebook page. You still don't know who they are and what they're looking for until they tell you. So then, okay, so where's the difficulty there? And the big difficulty there today is that most people have a very short attention span. They have 2 minutes, 3 minutes, whatever it is, and they look at what they found about you or from you, and they have to make a decision whether they tell you or somebody else that they want to buy or sell a house. And then the question is, okay, so what is that? So that is brand information, because at that point, a seller doesn't know really what happens what has to happen to sell the house, and a buyer doesn't know what they want anyways. They're looking for an agent, and you are the product. Everything else is bait. So this is sort of like the background I'd like you to keep in mind when I continue showing you here, what I want to show you. So let me log in here to my account first, and this is the member area. I'm sure many of you are familiar with this because, of course, you already logged into your account because you set up an account. Otherwise, you wouldn't have gotten our email. And this is the navigation line here. you can go to the dashboard. And by the way, that syndication document is here under my listing syndication network. If you click on here, then you will see that there is a PDF that you can download, and you can use it for sharing it with your seller or buyers, and it's branded to you. There's a picture of you here and your contact information. You can print this out. Now, this is the listing marketing part. This is where you create listings. We have a property search that we give you as a utility. This property search that's here is useful for lead generation. We started this about 10 years ago, maybe a little bit more, with Google, when we had we were taking listings from Google Base, which was their classified site. They did away then 3 years later, and now these listings are coming from this site called Oodle, and it is useful for lead generation, but it's not an MLS-based IDX. And right now, because there's so few listings in many areas, in several areas, this just doesn't have enough listings. We still give it to you because in many areas this works well. And what you can do here is, for example, you can, I'll just quickly show you, you can go, for example, to, let's say, New York. And then you click Generate Widgets and Links, and then you get here listings in New York. And you can take this widget here, you're taking this code, and let me pop this out here. And if somebody comes to one of these listings that are listed here, and which again come from Oodle, they can leave you a lead, and then you get a lead like any property search. So this is not any different than any property search, except that it's not listed. The listings are not from the MLS, right? And so you don't need the MLS's consent, and it also covers the US. So let's say I want to go here, and I want to go, instead of going just to New York, I want to go to San Francisco. I don't need the MLS permission. I'll just use the same map. Now, the whole idea here with this is that somebody is interested in some house, and then you get a lead, and then you send them information from the MLS, of course, right? And again, in places like San Francisco, there's very few listings these days that are posted on Oodle. So I'm not sure how useful this is in general for you, but you can try it out. Anyways, the main part here is the listing marketing part. Then we have texting, and then the rest of it are utilities. There's a mobile site that we give you, and the profile here is important. This is where you put your picture and your password and your social media links. I don't have those filled out here because I'm not using this as a real estate agent, because I'm not a real estate agent. But this is where you put this. It's pretty obvious, right? So let me show you an example of a listing that you create. This is what I usually show people because I like this listing. It's an old sold listing here in this area. It's 54northgate.com. I'll show you how to create one of these. Oops, here it is. Okay, so this is a sold listing here near me in Atherton, and the reason I'm showing you this is to get an idea of. Sorry, this thing is going to keep popping out here. Because I want you to give you an idea what you should strive for. So a property website, and this is the default single property view. There's other views we give you, as I said, virtual tours and landing pages. I'll show you those in a minute. But you can create this in 5 minutes if you have all your pictures together, and it creates a slideshow here, and then there's various tabs on the left-hand side. This is a sold listing, right? And so then, what is special about this as opposed to what everybody else gives you, because there's lots of companies doing these property websites and so on. Well, here you can add not just information about the house, you can add information about yourself and anything, and lots of other stuff that would be conducive for a potential buyer or seller to choose you as an agent. And that way, the sold listings, which you accumulate over time, because of course you get more and more listings and they're active, then you sell them and you have more and more solds. All these solds become touch points if you do it right. But what is important for them to be useful as a sold listing is that they have information about you, number one, and number two, information that is special from the MLS, because the MLS sends the same information to everybody, right? So Google and Bing, which would index a sold listing, the sold listings do not appear on any of the portals because they're sold, but Google can index it, and so you accumulate these sold listings if they have special content. But if it doesn't have special content, if Google saw the same information on 10,000 other sites, for example, these agent sites where the MLS sends the listing to IDX, then Google is not going to index it and it's going to be pretty useless. But so let me show you that here. Well, first of all, there's information about the house, obviously. So there's a description, which you see here, right? Which, again, I mean, this you can copy paste from the MLS, but I suggest that you alter it a little bit so that it's your original and authentic content. Everything is important for SEO on long term, original and authentic content, and it has to be relevant to search queries, right? So you have description, you saw the overview over there, you have a photo gallery. The photo gallery creates the slideshow, and then it's available here for individual pictures, so you can then slide through by clicking on these various pictures here. You can add videos. Videos are important today. I personally, if I was to sell my house, I probably wouldn't even talk to an agent who doesn't create a video for me. And you can easily create a video just from the pictures. There's information about schools, but here is special information, the neighborhood information. Why is that important? And this is what this agent Rona has put together on her own. This is original content about Atherton and about the history and so on. And why is this important? Well, because number one, this is her content. Number two, if I don't know Rona and I find this sold property, then of course I'm much more confident to talk to Rona, because I'm looking to buy or sell a house in Atherton, and I see that she specializes there, right? So this makes me more trusty to talk to her. Maybe I saw 5 other agents this morning, but I didn't understand that they work directly in Atherton. So I'd much rather, as a buyer and a seller, I'd much rather work with Rona. But Google, the second effect here is that Google will find this content which is specific to Atherton and to real estate, and will index this listing for that. And so therefore this listing is going to be better indexed on the long term than if it didn't have this, if it had only information about the house, right? So that's the other thing. The other page here that I want to show you is, you can add a Facebook page, of course, but then here is about Rona, and she added a little bit about her, not very much. She could have added the video in here and testimonials and so on, but at least there is something about her, and I don't have to hunt around for a link to her website, which actually is down here under her page, right? So I could click here, but on the bottom of the page. But here, by adding a tab, it's in my eyes. I look at it and I can read a little bit about Rona, and hopefully this is going to convince me, together with the neighborhood information and everything else I see, to talk to her. Okay, so how do you create a listing like this? I just wanted to give you an idea what this looks like and what components it should have. It should have a video, it should have a good description, it should have the features. There's a features tab here, and I'll show you all how to create this, right? Now, how do you do that? Well, you go here to your RealBird account, right? And you click on listing marketing. And let's say you have a new listing. Well, what do? You click here on add listing. And you can immediately choose here like an ad for sale listing and ad for rent listing. Let's say that we have an ad for sale listing. So you go here and then you fill out this form. The form itself has, so the editor, this is the editor. The editor has several pages. One is the main property information page, which we're looking at here. And this has the address, of course, the city. You can put, if you have an MLS number, you can put it in. Now, again, there is no connection to the MLS here. So whether you put the MLS number here or not, doesn't matter. You put the price, the bedroom, bathroom, etc. You put in the brokerage name. square feet. You don't have to fill all this out. You can always go back and re-edit, and that's actually a good advice. Don't do everything at once. Just fill out the main stuff, then go to the bottom. I'll show you. You can save it as a draft and then come back and edit it. That way, if your computer crashes or the network crashes, then at least you haven't lost what you've typed in. Then here you have a brief description. This brief description is up to 600 characters, and the reason it's up to 600 characters is because each listing has a print flyer here associated with it. And if I click on this print flyer, then it brings up a flyer. That's a print flyer, and you can print this out. And because it's one page, so this is for not so much for to replace your flyers that you do with your Microsoft Word or whatever you're using, Flyer Maker, but it's for somebody who's at home and they want to print it out because they want to show it to somebody, and yeah, you can use it for yourself too. But anyways, the reason it's limited to 600 characters is because it has here this text, and if it was more, it would run over to a second page. So it has the main picture of the house, information, etc., agent information. Now, so that comes from here, right? So you can type this in or copy paste from someplace. The second feature here, the features here is the second page, and this editor here has the features. Here you can list line by line what the features of the house are, right? I'll show you this other listing that I have in my account, and that'll have it typed in there. I don't want to type here because I'm not a good typist. Then there are two boxes here, more details URL and virtual tour. Here you can put, if you have, let's say, already a website developed by somebody because let's say it's a big condominium housing or it's a gated community, you can put a link in here, and that link will appear on that property website. Or if somebody has already made your Matterport virtual tour, you can either put it here or you can put it in this third tab, which is appropriately titled Video Matterport or Archeologic. Archeologic is a 3D architectural package that is used to create 3D models, and you can put that link. You can put it. They give you also a link, and you can put it in here so that not many people use it, but it's a really nice package. So what you do is you go to YouTube, you get the share link from YouTube, which is easy, it's right there, and you put that in here, and then what that does, it makes puts the video in front of the listing, right? On the top of the listing. It would appear on here, it would appear on the main page here on top of the description. I have actually, let me just bring up here, just give me a second. I'll show you an example here someplace. I have it in my Outlook. As I say, I'm a little bit discombobulated here because Eric was supposed to do this, but we'll manage. Well, sorry, it takes a while here because I'm streaming here into the webinar. I'll let it just open up and then I'll go back. Let me close this. Okay, so here is, if you have a Matterport video, then you can put it in here. Now, I advise against, if you are in for, if you want to use this for lead generation, I advise to put a lot of I advise against putting a lot of information into this listing. Why? Again, because people have a short attention span, and if you put the Matterport, something like a Matterport video, which they have to figure out how to use instead of a slideshow, then you take their attention span with that, or if you put a lot of pictures, and they're not going to have time to understand who you are and why they should work with you. So I'd be careful with this. I would put the Matterport link once the listing is sold in there, but it's up to you, of course. And here in this field here, you could actually type in a video title, and you could put in here an embed code that would generate from YouTube, and that would generate the this tab here that I showed you in a minute in this listing, this video tab, right? So this is an embedded video. So if I click on this, it's going to start the video. Let me just pull this over here to my other screen. And I'll show you one of these videos. I have it here someplace in my samples email that has a video on top. Okay. Where is it? Just give me a second. Okay, so I have it here. Just put it in a new browser. So this would look like if you take a video, the link from YouTube, and you put it in here in this YouTube or Vimeo URLs, then it would post the video in here instead of just creating. This is an extra tab that they put this video in there, but I don't know if you can hear. You probably can't hear the voice. But anyway, so this is what it looks like if you put it in there. I just wanted to show an example. All right, so let's go further down. The description page. Now remember, on top you had this description part, which is 600 characters long. But here in the description page, you can put a long description, and you can format it with this toolbar. So let's say that I write something here. This is a test, right? And if I want to make this bold, then I can click here the bold. Or if I want to make this larger, then I can make it larger, right? Change the font color and so on. Let's say I want to add a link, then I can select, for example, the word test. I can go here to this insert hyperlink. When I click on that, it comes up with a hyperlink window, and I put here some sort of a link here, maybe a show mojo something, right? And then if somebody clicks on that, then it's going to open up that link. So this is the description page. You can put as much in there as you want. You can even create HTML here by clicking on the HTML mode down here. But most people just type in and then they use the formatting bar. Now this is the neighborhood information, and this neighborhood information tab allows you to put in things like what I showed here in this listing here on neighborhood. Right, so this description of this neighborhood. Again, I advise you to create your own original content. Why? Because Google likes that. Google is going to totally ignore duplicates or plagiarism or anything like that. It takes a while, but look, you have a listing of $1 million or something. Even if it's less, even if it's $300,000, it's worth doing a video and putting 10 minutes into writing something about the neighborhood and what this entails. The new sellers will be impressed because they see that you work on it, because you have a video and your own content. The buyers will probably respond better because they see that you care about that neighborhood and you specialize there, etc. All right, let's go on here. Live chat. This is something that I'm not so sure if you need to use it. You can put here a code that is an embed code from an online chat tool. Used to be popular in the past. These days, I don't know if it's that popular. What it does, I don't have an example right now. I wasn't prepared, but but it creates on the bottom of your listing a chat tool, and then people can click on it and chat with you, right? And it's the one where you're not online. It says just leave a message, and it would appear in this listing here on the bottom box. I use Pure Chat. There are other chat tools that you can add in there, but again, I'm not that hot about this idea. They can call you or they can text you. Your phone number is there anyway, so this is a little bit redundant. We left it there because a lot of people are using it. Well, not a lot of people, but people are using it. But I say, oh, you can use it if you want. Anyways, then add more info. Now this here is an important area, because here you can add extra pages other than the neighborhood and so on, which are standard in there, and you can use them or not. But here, let's say you have I added here a code for scheduling the showing, which uses an outside software, and that appears then on the listing as a link that they can click on and select the time for the showing. But you can add here, for example, a floor plan, or you can add here something about the community, or about the or more videos, or whatever you want to add, HOA documents and so on. So you have 3 pages here available: page 1, page 2, page 3. The way they work is you give it the title, which then will appear in the single property website as one of these titles, right? So for example, this About Rona has been created like that, but in this case, I'll show you where you can put it in a global settings. The same 3 pages are there, but then they attach themselves automatically to every listing that you create, so you don't have to do it separately. And this About the Agent is, of course, one of those that you really want in every listing. You can always override it locally, but at least you don't have to add it when you create a new listing. So you have 3 pages here, and you can put any HTML. These are all HTML pages. You can put in any HTML you want. So you can be creative on this. The Configure tab here is something that allows you to put in or take out certain default links. So for example, let's say that you want to show there's a way to show your blog, stream your blog into the bottom of every listing. You can add it or not, but that is, by the way, added in the profile section. So that's a little bit an advanced thing. I won't go into that. But let's say you want to disable Google Street View because this listing has a bad Google Street View. There's, I don't know, there's cars or kids hanging around, or I don't know. So you can unclick this and it's not going to show. Demographics, you can unclick this. I'm not sure exactly. We have demographics in certain zip codes, and so on. So this is here just to configure the page. And then the MLS friendly virtual tour is here to make out of this, to make this the virtual tour MLS friendly. We give you a non-branded version anyways, but some MLSs have more stringent requirements. So for example, they can't have links from any of the virtual tours. So even Google Maps are not allowed with links. So this is to configure that. There's a tutorial for this, so if you want to know this, but most people don't use this because they don't need this. So once you create this, then it creates, so I'm going to go back here. Let me show you a listing that already is filled out. This is my house here that that I had for rent for a while, and I left this listing in here. Now, once you created the listing, it appears, at least you have one listing, that they appear listed here in this listing marketing area, right? And so you can go to any one of the listings, and they have 2 buttons. One button here is to edit the listing, manage photos. So this is, for example, where I manage photos. Let's say I want to add some photos here to this listing, then I can click upload multiple photos at once. I can rearrange them. I can add photo captions. And then you can also download here branded versions of these photos. These branded versions, they look, for example, like this. Once you uploaded the photo, they have your picture, and then they have the address and a call to action, call for more information, blah, blah, blah. If you have texting set up, then it also has the call for action for the texting. And you can use this then, for example, for a flyer, or you can use this to post on Craigslist or on Facebook and so on. So each listing has a branded version that you can download directly from here, or you can rearrange them and so on. It's pretty obvious. But going back to here to my listing, what you can also do here, you can edit the listing details. If you click on this, then again, you get the same form that you used to create it, and it's now filled in. Here are the 600 characters, and the features are listed in here. Let me just click here. So there's features and yeah, neighborhood information. I think I have. I'm not sure. Yeah, I have some of it. This house is in Mount Carmel. Anyways, so that's the edit property information. You can add, change, update, etc. The other things that are in this button are you can set the open house dates. That adds a tab on the side. You can add a domain name. Now, the manage 3 domain name, you get 3 free sets of 3 free domain names here, right? And these are free. You don't have to pay for it. And domain names are pretty useless in real estate because nobody searches, of course, by the street address. But they have limited use, like that 54 Northgate. You can put the panel in front of the house, which I recommend that you do with texting, not with domain names, but you can if you want, if you buy a main domain name. Or if somebody calls you on the phone, and it's easier to spell it out over the phone than giving them a long link. So how do you do that? Well, the main domain names are realbird.com, propertyflyer.com, and listingseller.com. These are under which you get these free domain names, and you get 3 each. And what you do is you type in here under step 1 what you want to be the first part, right? And the first part is Court Street, right? And then you click check availability and you reserve it. And once you have that, you can use these to access the website. And it's really simple, right? All you have to do is you type this in. Let me do another one here. So let's say Quartz Drive. Okay, so instead of Quartz, maybe dash drive. And I click check availability, and it says register it. I say register, and now I have them available. And I can just click on it or copy paste it, or you put it on my flyer, and it brings up the same listing that the main domain name brings up, right? And you don't have to spend money and time on reserving a domain name, a main domain name, like 54northgate.com. But you can do that as well. There's a domain store. We resell GoDaddy domains, and you can set this up for yourself. You click here under visit our domain name store, or you can buy it anywhere else. You can buy it through Euro directly from GoDaddy. We don't care. And then what you do is you follow these steps, right? You do forwarding and masking, which is really simple. It's like forwarding a phone number to another phone. You just copy the URL of the listing, and you put it in there in the domain field, and then it's going to be forwarded. Each domain store, certainly GoDaddy has instructions for that, and it's very, very simple to do. As I say, I'm not a fan of domain names because they don't cost much. They cost maybe 10, 15 bucks, but they're not that useful anymore. So that's there. Now, how do you do the marketing? Well, here's the second button, right? The property site, virtual tour, and marketing tools. And what you do is you click on those, and once you have this, you get a set of links. The set of links here, they're all for marketing this listing that I just created, right? And you have all these links. So let me quickly go through it. The single property website is what I showed you. You just click on it, and it brings up that listing, right? So this is the default view, and you can use this to post this everywhere. But you can use these other ones as well, which I'm going to show you in a second. So you have various various virtual tours that we give you. These are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So these are different. We're adding some more versions, but let's say, and you can take a look at them. Let's say you want an unbranded virtual tour, and these are the 3 versions of that. So you click on this, and it brings up the unbranded virtual tour, which looks, it's the same information, of course, but it's a different format. It has the address, and it has then the pictures, a slideshow tour. I strongly recommend that for lead generation, you use the slideshow tour, these slideshow tours, instead of some fancy virtual tour package like the Matterport, for the reasons I just explained to you. And that is, people don't have a long attention span. You don't want them to get lost in this, and then they have to jump up and go away because they have to go to work or to sleep, or their kids are crying, and then they have forgotten to write down your name and to talk to you, right? So simple, keep it simple for lead generation. After that, of course, you can always add more complicated stuff to have the sold version of this. Now, there's other virtual tours here available. We have small ones like this is the legacy virtual tour. So if you need a small version, then you can use this, and it's unbranded. The branded ones have your address on them, so you can take a look at this once you are ready to go and work with this. Up here, this nearmerentals.com, this is for rentals, right? So if you have a rental that you post, you can pay $15 to us. It's not going to make us rich. It's not going to make you poor. And this is a portal that we started, Near Me Rentals. You can take a look at it. We post the rentals there, and it's extra exposure for you, not just to generate leads, but also for SEO, right? Because we are ranking. It's a RealBird website, and RealBird has a ranking of, I don't know, 3 or 4, and so that probably helps your SEO. We have also a portal for sold listings, and the sold listings are posted here. Articles.realbird.com. And if you go there, when you create a sold listing, then you get that same prompt, but we post it to this, which is our blog site. And it's also $15. If you want to spend that money, it's a good buy, I think, because it gives you exposure and SEO. Anyway, so let me go back here. What else is in here? Here are the social media posting buttons. So let's say you want to post that listing on Facebook or whatever, you can click here. Now, these buttons depend on whether you have already a social media on your browser, right? Because all they do is they connect you to your browser. So they're just a shortcut. So, if you don't, then you have to open up a new tab and log in there and then just do the posting directly. There's other facilities here. So if you want to automate, for example, posting the listing on your Facebook page, then you can use Buffer, which is a tool outside. I'm not going to get into that because that's a little bit advanced. And you can we have a photo editor here that you can create a special picture to post on your social media. Again, that's documented in the tutorials. Now, by the way, the tutorials are here, so you can click on there and you can see what tutorials are available. Some of them I have to update, but most of them work fine. Now, I already showed you the branded listing photo. So if for this listing you want to get a branded listing photo, you can either do it here, or you can just go to the manage photos and get it there. Now, here are also embed and sharing codes. So let's say, for example, you want to create a slideshow from this because you don't want to post a single property website. You go here to the slideshow, and then you put here the widths, let's say 600 by 400 pixels, 400, and you click this button. And this gives you here the code that you would use for embedding, and this gives you then the preview. So this is what it's going to look like, a slideshow. So this is going to then go by itself once you embed this code, let's say in your active rain or your website or whatever you want to do. Okay, so Anne says that they're using our tools, our tours, yeah, because they're free and they're nice and they're simple, and I think they're the best bet on the market out there today. We have other things here that I'm going to jump over here because we're running short on time, but you can post this on WordPress with a plugin. If you have most people have WordPress sites. It's for the hosted WordPress, not the free one. You can put the plugin in, and then it's easy to just one click and it shows up on your blog post that you write with WordPress. This is documented here. You can take a look at it. A lot of people are still using Craigslist. A lot of people are not very fond about Craigslist, but I think it's a good tool. You can here post to Craigslist, and here there are three options. I want to draw your attention to this. These bottom two ones are legacy. Don't use this because Craigslist is going to throw them out because they have links. You have to use the plain text with SMS call to action. That's also described here on top. And so what you do is you click that, and then you just click generate code, and you see here the listing text. It's a little bit formatted. That's all that Craigslist allows you, HTML formatting. And then here's the code. You can select and post it. Go post it on Craigslist. You have to upload the pictures separately, again, because they don't allow links anymore. They had so much spam and stuff, they reduced that. You can post to Active Rain, so you can create an Active Rain widget here. It's the same thing. You just click on it and you set, for example, the size and whether you want to show contact information or not. And then it looks like this. And then you take the code and you put it on Active Rain, and it's going to show in your blog post like that. There are other networks here. You can create a sprint flyer from your member area. It creates the same print flyer that I showed you here. I think on where was it? Here someplace. Oh, the printable flyer. This one, it creates something like this. Let me go back. Texting. Texting is important. Why is texting important? Oh yeah, here's Seller Email Tool. The Seller Email Tool allows you to create an email that you send to your seller. You fill this out and you say, hey, help me, or not just to the seller, to your friends or whoever you want to send it to. But it's a good idea to involve the seller. Many sellers want to help you by forwarding this email to the friends, and then it has a picture in it, and you can send it to him. So it's an easy way to create this email with a picture and the link to the website, and then you send it to your sellers. Now, texting. Why is texting important? Well, it's important because everybody texts these days, right? Number one. Number two, it's the easiest and most pervasive, I don't know if that's the right word, but the most used interface in the world. It's much easier to use on a phone than a browser. Most people don't even know where their browser is. So let's say you in front of a house, you put this hanger that says, to see this listing, go to www.54northgate.com. Well, they have to take their phone out, they have to find their browser, they have to type it in. Okay, so now they mistype whatever, and finally they see the listing, they go home, and they want to show it to their wife, and they forgot the domain name. With texting, they just see the call to action to see this listing, text XYZ to this number, and they text it. The autoresponder sends back the link. They tap on it, and they can look at it. You always get a lead with texting, which is not the case with anything else, not the skills pages, not the single property website, but with texting, you always get the caller ID, right? So you always get the lead. People are comfortable texting. A lot of people are not comfortable emailing because they got their emails put on spam lists or whatever. A lot of people are not even, remember, they don't know you in lead generation when they find something from you. So they may be reluctant to click on any links because they got viruses or something. But texting, everybody texts. You have to set it up. When you set it up, it's here in the SMS section here. There is a tutorial. So it says here, you click on here, there's a tutorial. You have to set up an account with Twilio. It costs $1 a month, which you pay to Twilio for the phone number, right? That's all it costs, $1 a month and 0.02 cents per lead. So this is practically free. Plus, you can create not just text for every customized text codes for every listing that you have, but also for property searches, open homes, your testimonials, you name it. They all you can all textify those. If you want to test it out, you're welcome to use my testing. My two examples one is an IDX search, and the other one is a listing, and I'll put it up here. Actually, I'll chat it over here. Okay, so you can follow this and text from your phone and see how it works. The leads are always going here into this area here. So this is the leads area. This is where you get all the leads, including the texting leads. But you can also forward them to an email, which is in your dashboard, and it's called lead notification settings. So if you go here, then you can set here an email, and I have to log in here again for some reason, log me out. But you can set here an email, and then it sends it to this email, to these email addresses. So let's say you have an assistant who needs to process this, or I don't know, you want to send it to yourself, or a text, you want to create a text out of the emails, then you can use an email to text converter, and the leads are gonna go there as soon as they show up. I'm back here in this listing marketing, and let me go back here so I continue with the exposure stuff. Right, so then you have the domain names, which I showed you already. I have these 3 in there. You can still use QR codes, of course. I haven't seen many people use those anymore. They used to be a fad about 10 years ago. But if you want to do it, you can use it. Each listing automatically gets a QR code, and you can buy stickers for it and post it. Now, here are the landing pages. The landing pages seem to be popular these days simply because when you post on Facebook or on someplace else, you want to capture a lead before they see the listing. So that's the purpose of this. Obviously, you can post on Facebook or anywhere else, any of these single property websites or virtual tours or you name it. But if you really want them to give you their email and not see the listing before they put their email in there, then you use one of these landing pages. Sorry. And so how do you do it? For each listing gets one of these. At this point, there's these 6 here. We're gonna add more pretty soon. But let's say it's a new listing that you got. Then you click on the coming soon landing page, and this is what it looks like. And what you do is you get this link instead of the single property link, website link, and you copy and you go to your Facebook page, and then you post it on there. Maybe you boost it up. That's a good idea to target. Facebook is a great targeting machine. Don't count on syndication anymore. Why? The reason you shouldn't count on syndication because the world is awash in listings, and most of these syndication sites, they will post your listing on the bottom if you don't pay any money to them. Like Zillow certainly is one of those. We don't syndicate to Zillow because they take only, since 2017, they've been taking only MLS feeds. We do syndicate to Hotpads, the rentals, but not to Zillow, the for sale listings, because they don't take it anymore. But they charge $5,000 or so per zip code. So I really suggest that you use Facebook. It's about 10 times cheaper per lead than, for example, Google Ads, or 5 times, depending on the area. But anyways, so you take this, people have to then fill out their name, put in their name and number, and they click, and then they click get the property information on, and then you get the lead from this, right? What's the advantage of this? The advantage of this that you do get the lead, and they don't see the listing before they provide you with their name and phone and email. What's the disadvantage? Well, the disadvantage is this is lead generation. They don't know you, and as I mentioned, a lot of people are reluctant to give out their email. Now, the other disadvantage is that kids can be playing. Anybody can type in a fake email, so this is more prone to getting fake leads, right? Because I can type in any email here. Who knows, how or mistype it. And so that's that's a category disadvantage. Any landing page has that. This is not specific to RealBird, but you have to think about that. Of course, as I said, you can post directly the virtual tour, or you can post any of these single property website. Here are other ones recently repriced. Let's say you repriced the listing. Looks the same, but it has a different call to action, right? So let's go back here. So open house sign-in form page. What is this good for? This is good for, of course, there's an open house landing page as well if you have an open house, but here's the sign-in form. The reason this is a good idea to do is you walk into a open house and you hold an open house. Invariably, there are more people end up in there if it's a popular place than you can handle, even if you have a helper. And if you have a piece of paper there and they write out their name, you can't read it maybe or whatever. So you open your laptop, you put this page up there, and they put a sign there that sign up here when you come in, and they put their name and phone number, and this collects everybody's name. Of course, they have to go there and proactively write it in, but most people do. And you get an email as a lead for every one of these. So that's the open house registration tool. Now, you have, in addition to these single prop, once you have more listings, what you can create is you can you can not just market with the solds and the actives and so on, but you can create widgets. And these widgets are inventory widgets, show all your actives, all your solds. Let's say that you want to market to sellers. Well, sellers are not that impressed by active listings because what does an active listing say about the agent, right? But they want to see what you sold. So you create a widget. I'll show you in a second where that is, but I'll show you first what it looks like. And here. So this is a Janie's sold listing widget, right? And these are all listings that she sold, and a few clicks to create it. Then you get this link that I copied in here, and you can promote this through Facebook and say, here are my, or put it in your email signature, or write postcards out with texting. You can hook up a text code to this, or whatever you want to do to market this to the public. And people get this and they click on one of these listings, and then they see the single property website, and hopefully they'll call you and they'll say, okay, here, Janie, or here, Gabe, or I want to work with you because I see that you do a great job with marketing the listing. Now, where do you create these widgets? Well, here, let me go back to the member area. And you go to the dashboard. And in the dashboard, it says widgets here. Okay, those widgets are also available under listing marketing. So if you click on listing marketing, then here, manage after. I'm sorry, not listing marketing. Where is it? Well, I guess they're not in there. They're in the dashboard. So you go, oh, inventory widgets. Yeah, it's right there. Sorry, it's right here, inventory widgets, right? So you go here, and then you can. I don't have any published listings, so I can't show it to you. But you have these choices, and then you can configure it, how big they should be, and whatever, and then it gives you this link. Let me show you another one here, a map widget, for example, instead of a tile. Let's see, I open this here. And all right, so this is a map widget of her listings. And again, it's the same thing. There's another one that you can get, slideshow. You choose which one works for you, and then people can see what you've sold. You can create this for your actives, for your solds, or a combination thereof, and use it to create extra exposure for you with. So it's easy to change. So for example, here you can don't even have to go there. You just change. This is 10 and 30. It means that it has the actives and the solds. If I want just the actives, then I can just use 10. I think that's the code. And now the map shows all the actives only. And you can go here and then you click on it, and it opens up the website. Anyways, this was my exposure. We're at the end of the hour. I appreciate your patience. I'm sorry that Eric couldn't be here. I pray for his wife. She is really sick. And Eric will be doing this in 2 weeks. If you sign up on our webinar page, then you can come next week. Our webinars are posted here on the RealBird webinars. And as we post new webinars, it updates. The existing webinars, the past ones, are under youtube.realbird.com. So if you go to youtube.realbird.com, then this is our YouTube channel. And you can sign up there for new videos that will be posted automatically, and you get an alert from YouTube. And so here are the past videos that we did. We have many more in a different channel, but these are the newer ones. The old ones we've been doing for 10 years. There's enough videos out there to keep you busy for 2 lifetimes. But just take a look at these, because these are the newer ones. Thank you for your attention. I hope that this was somewhat useful to you. If you have any feedback, please email us to support@realbird.com, or send us, or you can welcome to call. You're welcome to call. And I hope to see you at the next webinar. And if you haven't upgraded your account, please do so. It's money in your pocket, and I'll be happy to give you any assistance that you need to get going. Have a good day.